I saw candid photos of my husband, Michael, online, and the woman nestled beside him was none other than my best friend, Jessica. In the pictures, their fingers were laced together, and they were laughing and chatting easily. Michael's left hand held Jessica's, while his right hand was laden with newly purchased luxury women's wear from the mall, almost too much to carry. Even the bag Jessica carried, held by Michael, was incredibly expensive. Then I looked at the apron I was wearing, at my hands, rough from years of housework. For years into our marriage, I had become just a housewife, only good for laundry and cooking. Meanwhile, my best friend, who was never particularly striking, had been doted on by my husband and transformed into a beautiful princess. In that moment, I snapped, deciding to make that cheating couple pay. Watching the candid photo that had been posted just 8 minutes ago, I trembled with rage. 2 years ago, Jessica left her previous job. Michael's company was expanding and needed people, so I kindly asked Michael to arrange a position for her. I never imagined that she would take advantage of proximity and become the third party in my relationship with Michael. Watching grow increasingly beautiful over the past 2 years, I'd assumed she was simply learning how to dress and do her makeup. I never thought that Michael had been investing in Jessica's beauty all along. The feeling of being betrayed by 2 people at once sent a chilling pain deep into my bones. "Honey, will you be home for dinner tonight?" I sent the message before 5 o'clock, but Michael didn't reply until after dark. Actually, I had noticed something was off a long time ago. For instance, when we went out to eat, Jessica and Michael always sat close, teasing each other. Or how, at some point, I started hearing Jessica's name frequently from Michael's lips. Or how Michael had forgotten our wedding anniversary, yet never failed to fix his hair and spray cologne, meticulous. Sly grooming himself every day. Blinded by love, it's only now, looking back, that I realize these clues were not without reason. Michael and I met in college. Michael's family was from a rural area, his father had passed away, and his mother raised him and his younger brother alone. Michael was handsome, and though his background was humble, he was incredibly good to me back then. He would buy me soy milk in the cold winter and keep it warm in his arms, just so it wouldn't get cold when I drank it. He knew I suffered terribly during my period and would prepare warm herbal tea for me beforehand. My home was in the warm southern states, while Michael's was in a remote mountain town in the north. He would even save money for a long time, just to take a 20-hour train ride to see me during summer or winter breaks when I wanted to see him. I fell deeper and deeper into Michael's love. My parents owned multiple chain stores and had already earned enough money for me to spend for 10 lifetimes. I never liked dressing up, and my parents always told me to be low-key in my actions. I grew up influenced by this, so in college, neither Jessica nor Michael associated me with a wealthy background. When my parents found out I was dating Michael, they felt we were from different social circles and threatened to disown me if I didn't leave him. "Grace, you'll suffer if you're with Michael." But at that time, Michael had completely captivated me. My parents' heartfelt advice fell on deaf ears. I caused such a fuss that my parents finally compromised. They set 3 conditions. I had to be with Michael as an ordinary person with no money. It would be a test for Michael, and I would only tell him about my true family background after we had a child. I didn't ask for a wedding or any traditional wedding contribution, we just quickly got our marriage certificate. On the day we got our marriage certificate, William cried. He told me, "Grace, if you ever have any difficulties, tell me. If ever bullies you, I won't let him get away with it." Now, looking at myself, a fool, my parents' words were a bad omen that came true. All I feel now is guilt towards my family. Nearly 5 hours after I sent my message, around 9 p.m., Michael finally replied. "Wife, I've been in meetings all day. You know the company's raising capital right now, and I'll be up all night preparing proposals, so I won't be home." After graduation, Michael opened a small media company. Its performance was poor, several times teetering on the brink of collapse. It was always me secretly asking William for help, which allowed Michael's company to survive crisis after crisis. A while ago, Michael took on a project that required upfront funding. Stressed and overwhelmed by the lack of money, I went to William again. William immediately invested in Michael's company, but didn't tell me. I thought he was just afraid I'd worry about the company. I never expected him not to tell me so he could secretly meet with Jessica. Before I could reply to his first message, I received a second one from Michael. "Tomorrow, Patricia is coming. I can't get away, so could you pick her up from the airport for me?" "Okay." I coldly replied, then took a screenshot to save the evidence of Michael's affair. Making someone lose something they already possess isn't necessarily painful. But making them feel like they're about to gain something, only to lose it accidentally, that's the greatest torment. I had already planned my revenge. For arriving at the airport, as soon as I got out of the car, I saw Patricia. She wore a thick gold necklace around her neck, conspicuous gold bracelets on her wrists, and a flamboyant red polka dot dress. Though over 50, with a face that had started to sag, the traces of her meticulous grooming were evident. She looked more polished than me, at 26. In the years since I married Michael, I spent every day cooking and doing housework, never feeling bitter, fueled by my love for him. But why? Yesterday, after seeing Michael and Jessica's candid photos, I realized how ridiculous I had been. I looked at my wardrobe, where clothes hadn't been updated in 6 months, and the sparse makeup on my vanity table. I knew Michael's entrepreneurial journey wasn't easy, so I tried to save as much as possible on food, clothing, and daily expenses. Evan's mother knew to treat herself well, but I hadn't learned to. I gazed absently at her gold jewelry. My family was wealthy, we had no shortage of jewelry. Yet, in 4 years of marriage, Michael hadn't even bought me a wedding ring. He bought gold bracelets and gold necklaces for Patricia, and clothes and bags for his mistress, Jessica. But he had promised to cherish me. To this day, apart from his cheap love, I hadn't received a single decent item. What are you doing? No manners, why aren't you helping me with my bags? Patricia walked over displeased when she saw me looking at her without reacting, and pushed her luggage towards me. She then asked, "Where's Michael?" "Michael is busy. He asked me to pick you up. My son works so hard, and you, at home doing nothing all day, still take your sweet time just picking me up." I had been delayed by traffic during rush hour. She had waited less than 3 minutes, but was already impatient. Before I married Michael, Patricia used to call me dear and said that my not asking for a traditional wedding contribution was a blessing for the Chen family, promising she'd treat me like her own daughter. Now that Michael's career had seen some success, Patricia's attitude towards me had done a 180-degree turn. She had no idea that the company's success was largely thanks to my brother, the president of a top media company in the country. Seeing my lack of reaction, Patricia became even bolder. "It's a good thing our Michael saw something in you. Otherwise, with his abilities and looks, he could have found a supportive wife from a wealthy local family, and his company would have developed. Pet even better. Now's business is growing, but you're just at home doing nothing, enjoying yourself." "Patricia, I'm sorry. There was some traffic on the way, and I was late." I ignored Patricia's sarcastic remarks, showing no sign of impatience. "Oh, right, didn't you and Michael say you were buying another house?" Patricia's eyes gleamed shrewdly. "Yes, we looked at one on Grand Avenue earlier," I told her truthfully, as Grand Avenue was the most prosperous area. "Let's put Ryan's name on this house. He's graduating next year, and he'll need a home when he gets married." I've talked to Michael, and he agreed. After I got together with Michael, when he first started his challenging venture, he was still supporting his college-aged brother, Ryan. Ryan was insatiably demanding, wanting only the best, the latest model phone, the newest sneakers. Whenever I told Michael not to spoil a child so much, Michael would always say, "Grace, you know how self-conscious I was in school. I don't want my brother to suffer like that." Now, thinking back, Michael, who I now saw as an opportunist from humble beginnings, cared most about his mother and brother. They couldn't suffer even a little, but I could. In's heart, my ranking could only be low. Oh, I forgot. Now there's Jessica too, so I must be even lower. 5. It was nearly noon by the time we returned to the city from the airport. Michael called, suggesting we have lunch together, and asked me to drive to a restaurant near his company. When I walked into the restaurant, I saw Michael and Jessica. "Jessica, what are you doing here?" I feigned surprise, though I was a little taken aback by Michael's blatant display. "I just ran into Jessica in the company elevator. Since you two are close, I invited her to join us," Michael explained quickly before Jessica could, as if afraid I'd noticed something amiss. "Oh, Jessica, you're looking more and more radiant these days," Patricia said, her words clearly showing her fondness for Jessica. Not at all, Auntie. I just have to wear makeup for work, you know. If only I had Grace's good fortune to find such a wonderful husband like Michael and stay home without working, I certainly wouldn't need to get all dressed up." She then cast a suggestive glance at Michael. In the past, I would have thought Jessica was speaking up for me, but now I heard only sarcasm and mockery in her words. From's reaction, it seemed she was aware of Michael's affair. I excused myself to the restroom, turning on the voice recorder on my phone and leaving it on the table. This is a paid content section. 6 below is the conversation I later obtained from the recording. First, Patricia's voice came through. Jessica, just have the baby. I came here this time to support you, and I'll make sure Michael gives you a proper title. Then replied, Patricia, the most important thing now is to divorce Grace quickly, or Jessica won't be able to wear a wedding dress when her belly gets bigger. I never imagined that, even at this point, Jessica was still playing the manipulative woman. Won't this be a bit unfair to Grace? Will she divorce Michael? Patricia snorted, unfair? Grace hasn't gotten pregnant in 4 years of marriage to Michael. What use is a barren woman? She has to divorce him, whether she wants to or not. Jessica, your family background is good. Michael being with you is his good fortune. Grace's parents never paid attention to her, and she has a brother. Someone who brought nothing to the marriage, who didn't even have the confidence to ask for a traditional wedding contribution. How is she worthy of Michael? Patricia said the same things to different people. She once called me a blessing to the Chen family, and now I was a shameless someone who brought nothing to the marriage, a barren woman. I couldn't hear what else they said in the recording after that. It turned out Michael didn't love me. In his mind, at that stage in college, he could only find someone like me. I had naively believed I had found true love, unrelated to money. Now that his career had taken off, he immediately set his sights on someone he considered to be of matching status. While worried about Jessica's growing belly preventing her from wearing a wedding dress, he failed to consider the girl who, 4 years ago, had started dating him right after graduation, and had stayed by his side without complaint, even without a wedding or a traditional wedding contribution. An immense pain, like fire, swept over me, burning through my entire body. 7 Upon arriving home, before I could even catch my breath, Patricia impatiently began to cause trouble. Knock, knock, knock. The master bedroom door was knocked on, and before I could speak, Patricia opened it and began her assault. Grace, you and Michael have been married for so many years, and you still can't have a child. How am I supposed to face Michael's deceased father? Ever since Jessica started working at the company, Michael had seemed uninterested in intimacy. I brought it up once or twice, but Michael used stress and fatigue as an excuse, even acting guilty about his supposed inability. Later, for his ego, I stopped mentioning it, thinking we weren't in a rush for a child, and we could always try IVF when his company got on its feet. But it turned out Michael wasn't lacking desire, nor was he stressed. His desire was simply directed at Jessica. Patricia, it's not that I don't want one. It's Michael who can't. As if she hadn't expected me to say that, Patricia's eyes widened. Patricia, you know this isn't something I can control alone. I haven't blamed him, so why are you blaming me? But it's okay, Patricia. If worst comes to worst, we can always do IVF. I won't divorce him over this. To say I didn't hate him now would be a lie, but I couldn't divorce him so easily. I deliberately told Patricia that Michael was impotent, and then acted as if I loved him deeply. This was to make Patricia believe I'll leave him. Patricia was a shrewd woman, and my words were meant to plant a seed of doubt in her mind about whether the child Jessica was carrying was truly Michael's, letting that doubt take root and grow. Those who made mistakes had to pay a price, and the best way to make them pay was to let Michael believe he had everything under control, only to end up with nothing. The next day, there was a grand media industry reception, a gathering of VIPs and dignitaries. Michael, of course, wouldn't miss such a good networking opportunity. I asked William for a VIP admission ticket. After I called William, my parents also found out about the situation. They asked what I wanted to do. Of course, I wanted a divorce. I had no lingering affection for Michael, but I couldn't divorce him so easily. I wanted to make Michael regret everything. For the first time in 4 years, I broke convention and put on a new, elegant gown. Before, because Michael's startup was hard and he came from a rural background and was quite frugal, I rarely bothered to dress up to cater to his fragile ego. Now, I had no inhibitions. All I wanted was revenge. After getting my hair and makeup done, I put on the pre-prepared haute couture gown and jewelry, and walked into the venue, arm in arm with William. 9 As soon as we entered the venue, many people proactively approached William to talk. After all, William was an industry titan. A small opportunity casually given by him could make someone a fortune. I spotted Michael in the crowd of people preparing to toast, with Jessica on his arm as his female companion. Michael's small company was of a lower tier, so he had to wait quite a while before it was his turn to toast William. Mr. William, our company owes you so much for your help last time. Would you honor us by having dinner after the reception, so I can thank you properly? I felt sick watching Michael's fawning expression. Of course, I have time. We're family, there's no need for thanks. Tell my sister. Family? Sister? Michael was confused, his eyes filled with bewilderment. It wasn't until William pointed at me beside him with his chin. Michael followed William's gaze. First, confusion, then disbelief, and then I saw astonishment in Michael's eyes. Jessica, beside Michael, also widened her eyes in surprise. Grace? I looked at the cheating couple before me, crumpling William's suit sleeve. William felt my unease and patted my hand. My parents and I were abroad for some years and only returned to the country recently. Since returning, I've tried several times to arrange a dinner for all of us to catch up, but various things kept getting in the way. You're busy, I'm busy. Whenever you have time, I'll host. You wouldn't turn me down, would you? William's presence completely overshadowed Michael's. No, of course not. Michael's head bobbed like a rattledrum, as if it might snap off. I told Grace to bring you along tonight, but you two didn't arrive together. What's going on? Did you have a fight? He then looked meaningfully at Jessica beside Michael. And who is this? Michael immediately straightened up, Jessica's arm from his, and explained that she was merely an administrative assistant from his company, just accompanying him as a guest. This statement immediately made Jessica, who was already forcing a smile, visibly stiffen. Seeing that Jessica was clearly upset, I decided to make her even more uncomfortable and interjected, Jessica is my good best friend. I'm the one who introduced her to Michael's company. For occasions like this, where there's drinking, I feel much more at ease knowing Jessica is keeping an eye on Michael. Jessica, haven't you greeted Mr. William yet? Michael sounded a little panicked. No matter how angry Jessica was, she knew the person before her was someone she couldn't afford to offend. A flash of venom crossed her eyes, then was quickly replaced by a smile. Hello, Mr. William. I've heard much about you. She then looked at me reproachfully. Grace, why did you never mention that you're Mr. William's sister? I gave Michael and Jessica a faint glance. My fault. My brother and parents have been abroad for years, and only returned recently. I originally wanted to introduce Michael to my parents and brother ages ago, but Michael was always so busy, so we never got around to it. There were a few times William suggested I bring Michael to dinner with him, but Michael would react with clear annoyance whenever I mentioned my family. At the time, I thought he was genuinely busy, but now I realize he wasn't busy, he simply didn't see the need to meet my poor relatives. But now, the look in Michael's eyes had changed. Jessica also noticed Michael's shift and tugged on his sleeve. Michael, there are still a few CEOs from other media companies we need to toast. Grace, I'll come find you later. Michael reluctantly walked away. I chuckled sardonically, it had been so long since I'd seen that look on his face. 10 After I told William the first wanted to withdraw my investment, he didn't act immediately. Grace, just withdrawing the money is letting him off too easy. How about we ruin his reputation? My brother is a protective older brother, he always steps in when I'm bullied. Before the reception ended, Michael came to find me again. I found him annoying, so I sent him to pick up Patricia. Michael, go pick up Patricia. My parents are here, too. We'll all have dinner tonight. And invite Jessica along. Michael frowned and asked, why invite her? Just us is fine. I thought, this guy, how quickly he changes. Just a few days ago, he was saying how close we were, how we should be inseparable, so I deliberately pouted and said, oh, Jessica is my best friend. Let's all have dinner. Patricia even invited her the other day when she arrived. Michael looked a little guilty, casually agreed, and went to pick up his mother. We agreed to meet directly at the restaurant. Patricia was like a country bumpkin entering a grand estate, touching everything and looking around. Thanks to Grace, I've never been to such a nice restaurant in my life, Patricia said, her facial wrinkles gathering as she smiled, her shrewd eyes darting around. Michael told me Grace's brother is quite something, a truly influential figure. Patricia was an outgoing and friendly person. As soon as she sat down, she began to flatter William. Auntie, you raised Michael well, for Grace to find such an excellent husband. William emphasized excellent when he spoke, but Patricia clearly didn't catch the underlying meaning. After the pleasantries, I introduced Patricia to my parents. Patricia's jaw nearly dropped in astonishment. She never imagined I had such a prominent family background, so unbelievably low-key. She probably already suspected I was playing innocent to gain advantage, deliberately hiding my wealth. By the end of the meal, her eyes towards me had shifted from disdain to flattery. Actually, when Grace and Michael got married, we didn't approve of them being together. Patricia, the family difference was too great. They were from different social circles. Grace, ignoring the matches I introduced her to, insisted on finding such a poor boy. So, my husband and I, out of pique, went abroad. Now, so many years have passed, and Grace and Michael seem to love each other enough, so let them have a proper wedding ceremony. My mother calmly spoke words that showed her disdain for Michael. I saw Michael's shame, truly proving the saying, what goes around comes around. Michael's face looked unpleasant at being spoken to like this. He was about to retort but was stopped by Patricia. Yes, Grace is a good child. She didn't even ask for a traditional wedding contribution. She should definitely have a wedding ceremony. Sitting opposite, Jessica's face turned pale. She just opened her mouth, reschedule the wedding, then, Patricia immediately cut off whatever Jessica was about to say, clearly afraid of what she might blurt out. Jessica, you'll be happy for Grace, won't you? Earlier, I had told my parents everything Patricia had said to me. My mother, who was one to hold a grudge, took the opportunity at the dinner table to retaliate for me. Michael, you two have been together for so many years and still no child. I asked Grace, and she said you have some issues in that area. I've booked you an appointment with the best fertility specialist. You should go tomorrow. My father immediately chimed in, Michael, when Grace first got together with you, your mother and I discussed giving half of our assets to our grandchild if Grace got pregnant. Don't delay me from holding my healthy grandchild. I have to say, when it came to reading people, my father truly had a deep understanding. Hearing this, Michael no longer cared about his pride. He repeatedly admitted his mistakes and guaranteed my parents that he would ensure they held a healthy grandchild within a year. By the end of the meal, only Jessica's face was alternating between red and white. Jessica, why aren't you eating? Is it not to your taste? I pretended to be concerned, adding a playful jab. Jessica is my best friend from college. You have to be my maid of honor at the wedding. Okay, a malevolent expression flickered across Jessica's face again. My family and I just smiled without speaking. 12 after dinner with Michael and Patricia, we returned home. Michael couldn't wait to come into the master bedroom, ready for intimacy. Your parents love children. Let's try hard so they can have a grandchild soon. Honey, I also want our parents to hold a grandchild quickly. But you've been having trouble, and I don't know about your sperm quality. Let's wait until after your checkup tomorrow, or it might affect our descendants. I could clearly feel Michael's anger, but he dared not show it, as no man wants to hear so many times in one day that he's impotent. The night passed without incident. The next morning, I woke up to a sumptuous breakfast on the table. In all our years of marriage, this was the first time I had eaten a meal cooked by Patricia. After breakfast, I took Patricia, who was eager to buy a house for Ryan, to look at properties. First, I took her to see a luxury apartment in the best area. Patricia, what do you think of this one? It's very nice. Is it expensive? Not at all, it's just a little bit of money. We'll put it in your name, and you'll have to spoil Ryan well in the future. After viewing the apartment, we prepared to finalize the purchase with the sales agent. The agent, knowing who the real money was, didn't give Patricia a very polite reception. Madam, to purchase this property, we require proof of funds. You must have assets exceeding 100 million to buy it. Our residents have high standards for their neighbors. Ah? I feigned a moment of hesitation with the agent. Then I took out the asset verification I had already prepared. Then let's buy it under my name for now. We can transfer it to Ryan once the property deed is processed. How does that sound, Patricia? Patricia's eyes went wide as she looked at the asset verification. After yesterday's family dinner, she probably knew my family had money, but she hadn't realized just how much. My parents had set up trust funds for me before my marriage that alone amounted to billions. Good, good. Michael really found a treasure. So devoted to family and filial. Having a daughter-in-law like you is truly a blessing for our family. I ignored Patricia's fawning expression and swiped my card directly. This card was William's secondary card. The money used to buy this house would count as premarital assets. Patricia didn't understand, she just thought I was buying Ryan's future marital home, soon to be transferred to him. She smiled so wide her mouth couldn't close. Patricia, you said Michael is excellent. I'm just afraid he might cheat and be snatched away by someone else, so of course, I have to be extra good to you all. Hearing me say this, Patricia's brows furrowed in a stern expression. If dares to cheat, I'll break his leg. Break his leg? I really wanted to see how she would do that. 13 Patricia gleefully called Michael to tell him about the house purchase. Michael immediately called me back. He said all those nauseating pet names like my dearest wife that he used to say. When the Grandview opens soon, I'll get us a luxury apartment there too. Making empty promises? Anyone can do that. But, since I'm so good to you, you can't fall for someone else, or my brother won't let you off the hook. The other end of the line fell silent. After a brief pause, he said, "What are you talking about, Grace? I only love you." "Oh, right. What did the doctor say after your checkup?" "The doctor said there's nothing serious. He prescribed some medicine, and we can try for a baby after one course." "Alright, then start taking it. You really need to take it properly, don't delay my parents from holding a grandchild." "Okay, my dearest wife." I hung up, sneering. What a disgusting creep. 14 Michael, tell that Jessica to get an abortion, quickly. A woman with Grace's conditions is impossible to find, even with a lantern. If finds out, we can't afford to offend her family. I had installed a listening device in the room. Shortly after I left, Michael and Patricia started discussing. "Patricia, you were the one who said Grace's family wasn't well off and told me to find someone better, which is why I found Jessica. Now that Jessica is finally pregnant, you're telling her to get an abortion. It's your fault. You date someone without even knowing their family background. If you had known her family was so rich earlier, would you have worked so hard all these years?" "Patricia, you can't blame me entirely. Before, when Grace's parents said they wanted to meet, you were the one who stopped me, saying, Grace's parents lived far away and were probably from some village with a brother to support, and that I should stay away from her relatives. Now you're saying everything?" Patricia slammed the table, refuting. "Besides, Jessica is Grace's best friend, how could she do such a thing? Who knows if that child she's carrying is even yours? The most important thing now is to get Grace pregnant quickly. Once she has a child, she won't be able to leave you. Have you taken the medicine the doctor prescribed? Take it on time, don't let Grace get suspicious. Take it, and then get her pregnant quickly." My parents, sitting beside me, trembled with rage as they heard the words coming from the monitor. Their own daughter being so schemed against, their faces were already ashen. "Grace, I told Michael's doctor that once he takes that medicine, he won't be able to have children for the rest of his life. A woman who has climbed her way up in the business world is just different when it comes to being vindictive. My mother is my idol." Immediately after, Michael's phone call could be heard through the device. After a few rings, it was answered by Jessica. "Honey, why didn't you come to the company this morning?" "Jessica, I have something to tell you." "Go on." Jessica's voice was sickeningly sweet. "Jessica, get an abortion." "What? Michael, are you even human? Just a few days ago, your mom told me to rest and take care of myself, and now, after just a few days, you're telling me to get an abortion? Are you really going to have a wedding ceremony with that bitch, Grace?" "Jessica, you know I can't afford to offend William. So, you get the abortion first. Once I get the money from Grace, we can have another baby." Grace even took Patricia yesterday to buy Ryan a house worth tens of millions. "Wait until I get the money, and our child can live a comfortable life. Our baby is already 3 months old," Jessica cried as she spoke. Michael hastily tried to coax her. "If you have baby and Grace finds out, we won't get a single penny. You don't want our child to have a bad life, do you?" Listening to Michael's manipulative tactics, I truly felt sorry for Jessica. She thought she had found a rich bachelor, but he turned out to be a money-grubbing opportunist. Even a beast wouldn't harm its own cub, yet Michael was asking Jessica to abort their child for money. "Jessica, wait for me at the company. I'm coming to take you to get the abortion now." After he said this, no more sounds came from the device. I pressed save, organized the recording, and sent all the evidence to my lawyer. 15 Michael said he wanted to reschedule our wedding ceremony as soon as possible. I arranged for the wedding planning company's representative to meet at Michael's office. I also called Jessica to help me consult. I kept asking for her opinion, and she stammered beside me, which was incredibly satisfying. "Jessica, why do you look so pale these past few days? Are you sick?" Her face was so white, the baby must have been aborted. What a foolish woman, completely under Michael's thumb. At that moment, I wanted to let out a long, loud cheer to express my joyous mood. Everything for the venue and banquet had to be the best. When the final bill came, Michael's temples throbbed as he looked at the long string of numbers. "Grace, isn't this a bit too expensive?" "Michael, my parents have invited many VIPs and dignitaries to our wedding. This is very important for expanding your network. If we don't choose well, what will people think of you? Besides, my parents are preparing a large dowry for me. This money is just temporary, we're family, so my money is your money, right?" After giving Michael an empty promise, I watched him stamp and sign the contract. Jessica, are you busy this afternoon? Want to come with me to try on wedding dresses? My stomach isn't feeling too well. Jessica isn't feeling well, and you still have her working? You know Jessica and I are close. Can't you cut her some slack and be nicer to her? I deliberately made sarcastic remarks, pretending to pout at him, and indeed, a spark of jealousy flared in Jessica's eyes. Seeing flustered, it felt so good to be envied. 16 That evening, I returned home with Michael, ready to inspect the results of his medication. The doctor said that for a normal man, this strong medicine would suppress male characteristics. Michael was already not particularly virile, and he had taken an entire bottle. Recently, he had been doting on me, not sneaking off to Jessica, so Michael hadn't noticed his own changes yet. I urged him to take a shower. Wife, you can't wait, can you? Just wait till I'm done showering, I'll show you. Half an hour later, Michael stopped smiling. No matter what he tried, his little guy refused to cooperate. Still not working, huh? I shook my head helplessly. I couldn't help but feel too happy. I was about to burst out laughing. And no, it's not that. Maybe I've been too tired these past few days. It's okay, honey. I'll have Patricia find you the best doctors in the country again. I found an excuse and stayed at my parents' house for the night. 17 After finalizing the wedding date, I moved back to my own home. Michael called me several times, but I didn't go back. I had been busy creating a big surprise for Michael during this time. 18 On the wedding day, I didn't have Michael pick me up. I told him that the ceremony just needed to be grand, and other parts could be simplified. Inside the hotel, Patricia had a triumphant look on her face, while Jessica stood obediently beside her, waiting for me. I shook my head. Jessica, blinded by love, was beyond saving. The hall was packed with guests, all local VIPs and dignitaries. As I appeared, not wearing a wedding dress, the large screen behind Michael lit up. It began to loop candid photos of Michael and Jessica holding hands. At the same time, the music changed to the recordings of Patricia, Michael, and Jessica's conversations. Oh, and Michael's impotency recording followed right after. Watching the series of emotional shifts on the faces of the people on stage, from shock to anger to panic, everyone was stunned. When he received the divorce papers from my lawyer, Michael still hadn't reacted. He was like a defeated stray dog, tail between his legs, enduring the whispers and pointing fingers of the guests. Jessica, the other party involved, covered her face and fled in a panic. And muttered, unwilling to accept, "It's all gone, everything is gone." Michael was still unwilling to accept it. "Grace, let me explain, it's all a misunderstanding." With irrefutable proof of Michael's infidelity, he was stripped of all assets. He gave me the house and the car, which I promptly sold and donated to charity. Without investment, Michael's company was just an empty shell and quickly went into liquidation. After this incident, Michael couldn't thrive in the local scene anymore. Years of networking and connections, one could say, went up in smoke. He and Patricia retreated back to his hometown in disgrace. I heard from a university classmate that Michael has been seeing a fertility specialist ever since he returned home, and his condition, likely impotence, was likely incurable. I also found my own way of life. Relying on financial support from William and my parents, I spend my days eating and shopping to my heart's content, living a very comfortable life. Although this marriage failed, I gained a deeper understanding. Those who truly love me would never let me suffer even the slightest hardship. My brother, William, and my parents are my strongest support system. If I hadn't had William and my parents, and had encountered someone like Michael, what would have become of me? I think I might have been truly miserable. So, my dear girls, never lose yourselves in love that lacks concrete action. Don't be blinded by love, stay rational and be your own master. Thank you for watching today's story. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments section below. Feel free to share your perspectives, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more exciting stories. See you next time.